Righty. What intrigues me about you guys the most is how you crossbreed the punk and hip hop genres. How did that come about?
It really came about kind of by accident because those are the two styles of music, hip hop and punk rock, that we personally like the most, and that we, I think those are just most raw forms of rebel music and street music, underground music. And I grew up really getting influenced by a lot of the early '80s punk bands from TSOL, Minor Threat, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Adolescents, Vandals, like a lot of the punk bands from that era, and that was my favorite era of punk rock. And then hip hop, I just started liking back in the day, man. We just kind of naturally, one day we're trying to come up with some kind of interesting, we were doing some straight punk songs, and we just had the idea, I just had this idea to try to tie together a hip hop section to it. So it's just kind of an experiment, and it kind of worked out, and then we kind of started really formulating that whole sound, and that's where we came up. What we call it rip hop is where we fused the two styles of hip hop.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Just kind of came out by accident, and then we just kind of really just kept digging at it and just pushing it in different directions and just trying to see how far we can take it. We just want to try to do innovative things that haven't been done before instead of trying to sound like something else or try to follow somebody else's.
Right.
Try to sound like this. We try to create our own sound, basically.
Okay. This is another question related to what you guys do currently. Obviously, you guys push a lot of do-it-yourself kind of ethic with both Suburban Noise Records and I guess SRH. First, how would you explain that DIY kind of ethic? And then on top of that, how do you guys promote yourselves? Are you doing it, like, what's the most, effective promotional tool that you guys have?
I would say the number one thing would be, the internet, word of mouth. The band, like Kottenmouth Kings, constantly tours. So it's one of those living, breathing things that goes into every town in the U.S. and across. We're constantly touring. So I think word of mouth, the internet's a huge one. And as far as do it yourself, just creating your own reality. Hard work, having vision, and having perseverance. Just staying true to your vision, believing in what you do, and doing stuff that you love to do. We love making records. We love playing shows, and I think it just everything else, things that are out of your control that you can't control, you can't put too much energy into. As long as you focus your energy on the creating the music and creating the marketing, everything. As long as you channel your energy into those places, that all supports the vision, then it just kind of all comes together organically. And then it takes on a life of its own beyond you. So we can make a song in the studio, put it out there on the internet, go play in concert, but if people don't feel it, then they're not going to feel it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've been doing this 12 years, so obviously people, judging from the concerts and the record sales, people are obviously, feeling the music we're making. So that in turn adds fuel to the fire for us to keep going,
Right. Now, also with SRH, are a lot of what you guys sell also in stores as well, or are you just purely selling it online?
No, we sell online, but we definitely have a chain of with SRH is definitely more far-reaching. Kottenmouth Kings is isolated independent stores, some head shops, some skate shops, surf shops carry it. Some record shops, the ones that are remaining. A lot of the record stores now are having to carry merchandise and stuff like that because CD sales, obviously, that's not how a lot of kids are getting their music nowadays. So they've had to, outsource how if they're going to keep their doors open, they have to, think different too. So they're starting to carry some of the band merchandise and stuff. So where some doors have closed with CDs, we've opened other doors with merchandise, So SRH is in all like the No Fear stores. They're in Tilly's, and pretty much SRH is carried worldwide in Japan, Australia, Europe. It's a world international company. So
wow.
And it's been growing and growing. So it's definitely getting out there into stores.
That's good.
Noise and Kottenmouth Kings, that stuff's a little more underground still,
Right. Okay, in terms of some of your members, how did Pat go from the miming to, being part of the band? Like, that's quite a transition if you ask me.
Pakalika?
Yeah.
What do you mean to part of the band?
Well, in terms of where he was able to, when he was miming, and now, being around part of the crew and stuff, like, how did that transition come about?
Well, he's just always hanging with us. I mean, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't contribute anything musically to the group.
Right.
He's there to provide movement and interpretation through his movement. You know what I mean? And he's just a champion for the cause, man. He's just such interesting, unique characters, almost, almost like the band mascots, kind of,
Yeah.
But he doesn't actually contribute anything musically to the group, It's
Okay.
a spiritual influence.
Okay. Now D-Lock as well, when he's doing his riding and moto crossing, does that bring in a whole totally different type of perspective for the band?
With what?
Well, I don't know if there's a lot of members out there that, let's say, do exclusively motocrossing and then bring that about into
Well, I think as far as just it's that whole kind of commit, once you launch on a dirt bike, it's full commitment. I think it's the same thing as soon as we hit the stage, it's full commitment. You know what I mean? It's like it's full throttle all the way. I think just living in California, skateboarding, surfing, freestyle motocross, I think that energy of all those things, we definitely make the music the soundtrack for that lifestyle,
Okay. Now also with the Artist Groove Network, is that still fairly active?
No, it hasn't been active for years.
How did that initially work, though, back in its heyday?
Artist Group Network is a promotions company that we used to promote concerts and nightclubs. Basically, we used to put on bands and put on shows, put on concerts and nightclubs, put on big raves. And we used to rent out vacant buildings and just throw these huge parties, basically.
Okay.
And we bring in DJs from all over and bands from all over, and just, it was just basically just Artist Group Network. The concept was just trying to create a way for us. Everyone in it was musicians and making movies or doing whatever they're doing. And obviously sometimes when the art that you do, making music or movies or any kind of art, a lot of times doesn't pay the bills, you know what I mean? So we're trying to look for a way to subsidize our incomes by, not having to have jobs, basically. So we created our own jobs.
Okay. This will be the last question. Out of all the shows, which would you say the biggest one was, and who'd you guys open up for?
The biggest show that we ever played was at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., and it was a huge festival with Rage Against the Machine, Cypress Hill, Stone Temple Pilots. It was one of those big radio festivals, and I was like, I don't even know how many, 50, 75,000 people, I don't even know how many people were there, but it was in a football stadium. That was probably the biggest show we ever played. We also did one like that in Indianapolis. It was pretty big with Green Day, and we did one in Chicago that was pretty big. Those big radio festivals. We did one with the Chili Peppers and Offspring and Hole and all these people. So those kind of shows have been the biggest ones we play,
Yeah.
Those big festival style ones.
Okay. And what would you say your biggest headliner show was?
I'd say probably 420. Last year we did the Queen Mary. It's a huge old ship, like a cruise ship, and we, packed almost 10,000 people in that cruise ship, man, on 420 last year. It's pretty insane.
Okay. Well, that's it. Pretty well it for me, man.
All right, brother. Stay warm. And
all right, thanks.
okay, peace.
Take it easy. Bye.